heard the rumbles, the thunder.
We did.
And the rain hitting our roof here at the station in Fort Worth. Good morning. It's now 6 o'clock. It's Monday, August 4th. Thank you so much for waking up with us here on CBS News Texas Mornings. I'm Carmen Blackwell here alongside First Alert meteorologist Brittany Rainey. Madison Sawyer's got the morning off. And Brittany, we're kicking off the week with obviously a First Alert weather morning today.
We are, and it's because of this thunderstorm warning that's in place for Johnson County, Ellis County, down towards Hill County. They have even extended a little bit further south in anticipation of these storms, tracking down to those areas and holding on to their strength. They've got some winds of about 60 miles an hour. They are tracking to the south at about 40 miles an hour, but right around the Itasca area is where we're seeing some of those strongest winds right now. So the severe thunderstorm warning, that goes until 6:30 this morning. The storms are passing right through Waxahachie and the Ennis area, tracking along 45 and 35, heading southward. So Italy down towards Rankin, heads up. You guys are looking at some very strong winds heading into your area. We've turned down the velocity to take a closer look at some of the winds within these storms. And you'll notice right around Itasca, we're getting some of those light yellows. That's where we have some very strong winds, 60 to 65 miles an hour. We were also seeing some of those lighter returns around the Ennis area as well. So you guys could be getting some of those 60 to 65 mile per hour winds. But these storms will be tracking into Hillsborough around 6:08, into Blooming Grove around 6:14, and Bynum around 6:18 this morning. Where we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning, but it is still a strong thunderstorm. That's into Kaufman County, tracking into Van Zant County. So right around Kemp, Gun Barrel City. Heads up, you guys are looking at that thunderstorm headed your way also into Canton, right along I-20. That will head over towards Grand Saline and then eventually the Van area. But these storms have moved out of Tarrant and Dallas County. We are still watching thunderstorms back to our northwest. Some of these have had a history of being severe. So as they continue to track south in our western counties this morning, they could pack a punch. So you're going to want to stay with us, and we'll keep a close eye on that First Alert radar for you. But look at this. In Fort Worth, we're definitely still seeing the lightning from those storms sitting to our south. We're sitting at 71 degrees right now, and after a stormy morning, we are going to get drier conditions.
Looking at some storms this morning.
We are, and we have severe thunderstorm warnings in place south of I-20 for Ellis County, down towards Hill County, parts of Johnson County as well for the leading edge of these storms. This is where we're looking at some very strong wind gusts, 60 to 65 miles an hour possible. Also some very heavy rainfall, and you can see all the lightning associated with this leading edge. It does even extend back towards Gun Barrel City. So these severe thunderstorm warnings through about 6:30 to 7 a.m. this morning. And as we take a look at some of those winds associated with it, when you're seeing these really bright colors, that's where we have the strongest winds. So around 60 to 65 mile an hour winds near the Italy area, even extending back towards Rice. We're also getting some of those very strong winds. So this will continue to track down to the southeast at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. So Corsicana moving in around 6:21 this morning, into west around 6:30. It's just the morning hours that we are looking at the storms. It's going to be drier and warmer this afternoon. We'll have that coming up after the break.
Lightning and all the heavy rain that's outside of our studios. I can't imagine what the rest of the Metroplex is waking up to this morning.
Those storms that were moving through our area have pushed down to the south. Now we have severe thunderstorm warnings into Ellis County, Navarro County, Hill County, as that leading edge of storms continues with that risk of 60 to 65 mile per hour winds. Things have definitely quieted down around Tarrant and Dallas counties, but we're also watching back to the northwest for some more severe thunderstorms developing that will continue to track southward. So western counties around Mineral Wells, you guys might see more thunderstorms as we head through the morning hours, even down towards Kaufman, Van Zant, Henderson counties. It's still pretty stormy for you as well. So here's a look at that severe thunderstorm warning for Ellis, Hill, and Johnson County. We're getting on the tail end of it now that these storms are continuing to push southward into Navarro County and further into Hill County. So those severe thunderstorm warnings will go until 7 o'clock this morning. But you can definitely see that heavy rain right around Mertens, Italy, back towards Rice and Gun Barrel City. We're seeing some of that heavy rain and a lot of lightning. And then we switched it over to our velocity to take a look at some of the winds, because that's the main threat with these thunderstorms. Notice right around the Mertens area, we're getting some of those brighter yellow colors. That's indicating where we have the strongest winds, around 60 to 65 miles an hour. Around Rice, we're also getting some of those lighter pixels, so probably 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. But this is going to continue to track down to the southeast. So heads up for Blooming Grove and into the Corsicana area. We did put that storm track on there for you. So Oak Valley around 6:26 this morning, Corsicana around 6:23. So here in the next couple of minutes, Navarro around 6:35 and Eureka around 6:37. I did mention that we have a non-severe thunderstorm moving through the Gun Barrel City area. Could be getting some very small hail and some winds up to around 50 miles an hour. Also some very heavy downpours where we're getting some of these deeper reds. This will continue to track over towards Athens and then the Moore Station area. But if we take that wider look, you'll notice we still have light to moderate rain a little bit further north. This is going to track over towards Sulphur Springs and the Paris area. We've already dried out around Denton and Sherman, but Collin County, the eastern half, you're still dealing with some of that light rain this morning, and we have picked up a quick 1 to 2 inches of rain in some spots, especially where we have some of these stronger thunderstorms. Southeast Kaufman County picking up close to 2 inches of radar estimated rainfall. On First Alert Futurecast, it's the morning hours that we have this First Alert weather day for. That's when we're going to see the thunderstorm activity, but the closer we get to midday, that's when all this will be shifting down to the south. We're getting more sunshine. That's allowing our temperatures to heat up with those breaks in the clouds. Can't completely rule out an isolated afternoon shower, but we're keeping it at about 20%. This is looking out of our Fort Worth camera where we have been seeing a lot of lightning strikes. There you go. As we're looking down to the south, temperatures have cooled off quite a bit because of the rain. We've even got some upper 60s around Denton and McKinney this morning. We're 71 in Dallas, 70 degrees in Bridgeport. Out ahead of those storms, though, still mid to upper 70s in Hillsborough and Corsicana. That's going to change over the next half an hour once that line pushes through your area. But as I mentioned, some sunshine right around midday. So we're back to the mid 80s around 1 o'clock. By 5 p.m., lower 90s on the way. And then we are looking at high pressure building back in as we head towards the middle of the week. So right now we're looking at this north to northwesterly flow. That's what pushed that complex into our area this morning. But look at this high pressure building in towards the middle of the week. And as that does so, we're going to see a return to sunshine and warmer temperatures. We're getting back into those upper 90s around Hubbard and the Richland area. That's where we're getting some of the strongest winds and the heaviest rainfall right now. And that's what we look at velocity for, the winds and how strong they are. When we're starting to get these lighter pixels like this, that's indicating where we have some of those strongest winds around potentially 60 to 65 miles an hour. So that would be around the Hubbard area, just south of Blooming Grove, even around Kearns. We're getting some of those strong winds as well. So this line will continue to shift down to the southeast at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. If we look just a little bit further off to the east, though, into Gun Barrel City and Athens, you'll notice we have another strong thunderstorm. This one is not warned, but you're likely still going to get some of those gusts potentially around 50 miles an hour, some very heavy rainfall and a lot of lightning. And then that rain starts to taper off a bit more the further north you go around Canton. We're still looking at some light to moderate rain that extends all the way up to the north, just off to the west of Sulphur Springs and Paris. And then we've also got some thunderstorms that we're watching back to our northwest. These are headed southward, so Palo Pinto, Parker County, heads up. You could get some more thunderstorms before this rain is done. But that radar estimated rainfall showing 1 to 2 inches of rain within some of these stronger thunderstorms this morning. That's why you're seeing some of that ponding out there on the roadways. But First Alert Futurecast, after that next round that we were just tracking to the northwest moves out, we are looking at drier conditions around noon today. That's when our clouds are going to start to break up, and then we're looking at a very nice afternoon with just mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the lower 90s today. We're going to have below average temperatures today. Our typical high should be about 97 degrees. We're going for about 91 to 92. And this shot over Dallas has improved significantly from when we had those storms moving through. We had a lot of lightning, but now we're even getting some breaks in the clouds. We still have that rain-cooled air in place throughout most of North Texas, upper 60s to lower 70s. Even Corsicana and Hillsborough have dropped down into the mid to upper 60s right now. By noon, we are looking at the mid 80s. And as I mentioned, we're about 91 degrees